Former President Donald Trump is back in the news, and this time, it's not really for anything political. This time, it is all about his newest business venture, and it is getting some major buzz on Wall Street. Former President Donald Trump's newest company is called Trump Media and Technology Group. And in the later part of 2021, they announced that they would be launching as a public company on Wall Street via an SPAC, a special purpose acquisition company. The SPAC is called Digital World Acquisition Corp. And I initially saw this headline and I said, you know, this happens a lot. A lot of companies end up going this route, and I'm honestly not surprised. However, this one is a little bit different. I saw this news headline on CNN that basically states that even though this company is not public yet, has no known products and no known sales, it is valued at around $10 billion already. So basically today I want to talk about this article that basically talks about this acquisition and this new Trump company. And I'm going to react to some of the things that this article talks about and why this company may be worth around $10 billion plus. But before we get into all of that, my name is Nate from Minority Mindset News, and if you like this video, then smash that thumbs up button below and hit that notification bell too. That way YouTube shows our videos to way more money minds around the world, and we can keep making videos just like this one. Former President Donald Trump was a business person. Now, I'm not going to get into all of his past deals or any of his past book publishing, but the bottom line here is that he has a background in business. So it didn't really surprise me when I heard that he was launching a brand new company. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, at least to me. He is a huge public figure. He was a big public figure before he was president. Since becoming president, he has an even bigger platform to stand on, which means he can push a lot more of his ideas out there. And again, I'm not really getting into any of the political aspects here, but as far as making a company goes, he has a lot of ground and a lot of room to work with. So launching a company is one thing. However, it being valued at around $10 billion without selling anything and without having any products is a bit strange. Well, this to me is very interesting, and it reminded me a lot of our meme stock madness that we saw at the beginning parts of 2021. Meme stocks are stock market investments that people on Reddit and Twitter and other places online are essentially pushing for no other reason other than to push them up. We saw this happen with a ton of companies in 2021 like GameStop, AMC, and Nokia. All three of those companies were essentially failing at one point, but they were brought back up because of meme stock madness. You all of a sudden had millions of investors from Reddit and all of these other places online start to invest in these companies. That sent the value way back up, and what people are saying right now is that this new TMTG company from former President Donald Trump is the ultimate meme stock company. I mean, part of the reason why meme stocks are called meme stocks in the first place is because people are just making a joke out of that investment. They're investing their money into that company and they're not really taking it seriously because the company is essentially failing. GameStop in particular is a company that was not doing well even before the pandemic started. And when the pandemic really took off in March of 2020, that really hurt GameStop's business, mainly because GameStop functions as a brick and mortar location first, and people couldn't go into their stores to rent or buy games anymore. This meant that their entire business model was starting to crumble before their eyes. More importantly though, GameStop became a heavily shorted stock on Wall Street. And essentially what you need to know about shorting a stock is that hedge funds and other investors on Wall Street will borrow some money to buy shares at a certain price right now, and then eventually will need to pay back that money at a specified period of time and will buy all of those shares back at a particular price. So shorting basically means that you bet that a company will do very poorly. You're going to buy a company at a very low price, and eventually you'll buy that company back at an even lower price. Because the stock is so low valued, say around $2 or $3, you can buy thousands, if not millions of shares in that company and then sell them for a mega profit. This eventually backfired because remember, you are borrowing the shares and the money here. So if the stock price ends up going way higher, then your bet was wrong. And this is exactly what happened with GameStop. On January 8th, 2021, one share of GameStop would cost you around $17 a share. However, by January 29th, 2021, one share of GameStop was valued at around $329. All of a sudden, GameStop was getting billions of dollars in extra capital, and it essentially saved them from bankruptcy. But this also meant that hedge funds that bet against the GameStop stock also ended up losing billions of dollars, and some of them ended up going out of business. And some investors lost a lot of money too, unless they sold their investment before it started dropping. By February 19th, the GameStop stock ended up dropping, and this is for a variety of different reasons. For one, a lot of the trading apps ended up restricting people from trading shares of GameStop. And that opened up the debate of whether or not we live in a free market. Is the stock market a free market, or does it only work for the billionaire hedge funds on Wall Street? And two, it eventually just ran out of steam. People wanted to take their profits when GameStop was hitting a record high, and with more people selling than people buying, that led to a crash in the stock. Now today, it looks like GameStop is hovering around the $143 mark per share, and it's still up by over 1,000% so far this year, meaning the meme stock really hasn't gone away, and it's pretty much hovered around the $100 mark ever since it hit its new record highs. However, reading through this article, I really think that something like this is going to happen again with this new Trump SPAC company, because if a lot of people are interested in the company as soon as it launches, that is going to create some heavy volatility. And with heavy volatility, that means that a lot of these stock market apps like Robinhood and Webull and M1 Finance are going to have to look at this company and decide whether or not they need to restrict trading to it too. So within the next few months, we might see this debate of whether or not we live in a free market start to come back up because of this Trump acquisition company. And I have a feeling that this is going to happen because the Digital World Acquisition Corp skyrocketed as soon as this announcement was made. Now, it hasn't quite actually merged with Trump's company yet. However, trading of Digital World Acquisition Corp had to be paused and restricted because it was so volatile. People knew that this merger was going to be big, and they started to pour money into Digital World Acquisition. In fact, according to this article, Digital World Acquisition Corp skyrocketed by 1,657% just days after the deal was announced. And again, this all happened even though people don't really know anything about this new Trump company yet. The biggest thing that has come from this new Trump company is that they are launching their very own social media platform called Truth Social. The whole goal of this new social media app is to be an alternative to the social media giants of today, like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And that comes after President Trump was blocked on a lot of these social media platforms at the beginning of 2021. And it's not to say that this company hasn't gotten any money. In December of 2021, the company announced that it raised around $1 billion in initial funding. Of course, this is all private funding from private investors. However, this company is still very far away from launching as a public company on Wall Street and merging with Digital World Acquisition Corp. According to this article, there are some serious errors in the company's filing. One of the biggest errors is that it doesn't really actually pinpoint how many shares are going to be available. Some lines say 13.7 million, while others actually show around 29.8 million. In addition, Trump's new company is expecting to bring in around $1 million in revenue sometime over the next few years, which is also really strange because, like I said, it hasn't actually launched any products. And by 2026, it projects that Truth Social will have around 13.6 million daily active users. And it already has a streaming app in the works. TMTG Plus is expected to cost users around $9 a month, and that could have 40 million total subscribers by 2025. And like I said, this is all due to the fact that President Trump has a big following. He has a lot of people, and he knows that people will be interested in the things that he has to say. In addition, if he has a company, he knows that people on Wall Street and that some Americans are also going to be interested in that company. But because of all of this action surrounding the two companies, there has now been some regulators who are investigating Trump's new company and Digital World Acquisition Corp. Digital World has received a notice from the SEC saying that they're going to be investigating the filing very heavily, and they're going to keep an eye on the two companies and their communications. In addition, the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority is also investigating the two companies to make sure there's no manipulation or fraud occurring. This was the same governing body that looked at the GameStop situation to figure out what kind of trading was going on and if there was any insider trading. Well, they are now doing the exact same thing with Trump's company, trying to figure out if there was any insider trading and what exactly is going on with these two companies. Lastly, according to this article, Senator Elizabeth Warren has called for the SEC to investigate whether any laws were broken by Digital World, because allegedly Digital World told its investors that it was looking to merge with a company. However, it did not mention which company it was going to merge with until it came out publicly. So if any laws or any wrongdoing is found, that could ultimately push back this SPAC from going forward. SPACs have been successful in 2020 and in 2021. 2021 has essentially become the year of the IPO, and a lot of those companies have launched with a special purpose acquisition company. This is essentially a blank check merger, as they call it, because one company will merge with a brand new company that its sole purpose is to just gain more money in order for the IPO to launch successfully. It is a very quick way for a company to go public on Wall Street because you have one company generating billions of dollars in order to help fund the IPO. Normally, if a company launches as an IPO by itself, it has to gain and gather billions of additional dollars. That can be very difficult, which is why companies do it through an SPAC. Like I said though, not every single company launches with the help of an SPAC. And honestly, thinking about Trump's company in general, this is a media company. Now, working for a media company and seeing everything that goes on behind the scenes, I can tell you from my personal experience that launching and building a media company is difficult. This article talks about that too, that says you can throw money at projects, but it is hard to build a platform that sticks. There's a reason why there are only a few social media giants throughout the world. You've got YouTube, you've got Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Those are kind of the main group. Now, of course, there's going to be a few other small ones, but honestly, 5 main companies. Now think of another industry like the auto industry or the food industry and how many other companies are doing basically the exact same thing and tweaking just a few things and are hugely successful. That is exactly why SPACs and IPOs have been dangerous in 2021, because there is all of this excitement and enthusiasm behind companies, and then people find out these companies don't make any money, and they probably won't for a very long time, and the stock price eventually dips. In 2021, we have seen 55 tech companies launch as an IPO on Wall Street. However, most of them have dropped from their initial highs in stock price because investors just aren't excited about them anymore, as they don't really make a profit yet. Some experts are calling it a bubble, and we really don't know what a lot of these companies are going to do in 2022 because they don't really have a lot to report off of just yet. Even the biggest IPO of the last 7 years, Rivian, announced that it only planned on making around $1 million in Q3, and it is valued at over $100 billion. So that just goes to show you that value and what the company is actually worth don't always match up. And I think that's exactly what's going on here with Trump's new company. Honestly, people have tried to do this before, and if the SEC and the FINRA even let this deal go through, then I think people need to be very careful what they do with their money. Obviously, I would never tell you how to invest your money. Do your own research and make decisions that make the most sense for you and your family. But also, I do want to warn you to just be careful with new companies that launch on Wall Street. Always do your own due diligence and never listen to a random dude on the internet. That would be me here. Otherwise though, I am very interested to see how this company is going to perform on the New York Stock Exchange. I'm very interested to see how Truth Social is going to perform as well, and honestly, if it's even allowed to become a company. There is a ton of hype around it right now, and we have definitely seen this before. So we will keep an eye on that for you. But now I want to know exactly what you think about this new Trump company. Do you think it is going to be the next big thing on Wall Street, or do you think it is going to be a complete flop? In addition, how do you feel about the SPAC and IPO market for 2022? Do you think we will have even more IPOs launch on Wall Street next year, or are we going to see SPACs and IPOs drop altogether? Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below before you go. But that is it for today's business and financial news breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. Keep hustling, money minds, and I'll see you all in the next one.